I'm going to next just briefly address two other emerging claims which are very new. And how many of you have heard of fracking? All right, well, just this past Wednesday in North Carolina, I don't know if you're aware, the Senate finally approved the bill that will allow the legislature to consider applications for fracking permits. Fracking is the underground drilling for natural gas. As you can imagine, the claims that are potential, that are, I guess, likely to arise out of them include water contamination, air contamination, soil contamination. Of course, claims that are generally associated with the industrial sites. There are no similar fracking bills or fracking sites in South Carolina, so not many of those claims yet, but they're definitely are foreseen to happen. The problem with these types of claims is that the fracking fluid that's being used, which is 90% sand and 90% water, 90% sand and water, the rest of which is 10%, and it's a combination of chemicals, the recipe of which is unknown because each company has its own, let's call it, recipe. So because we're not clear what those rest of the chemicals contain, it is also unclear how high the risk of contamination is and how likely it is, and the, I guess, extent of it. The potential plaintiffs obviously are landowners, public interest groups, and government agencies. If you want to know more about the process of the horizontal fracking, there's a very nice video on YouTube. And I've also found that on Facebook there is a page, Say No to Fracking in North Carolina, and there are about 1,500 likes so far. So it's obviously a potential problem. Another type of emerging claim that is even newer than fracking is what's called nanotechnology related claims. And nanotechnology is the manipulation of matter at the atomic and molecular level. Basically, you create the same materials by rearranging the atoms around. And some of the nanoproducts or nanomaterials already in use include clothing, sunscreen, antimicrobials, and foods. For example, some of the fruit juices include those types of materials. Again, the risk remains unknown simply because there are about 2,000 companies in the world so far that use this type of technology. However, there haven't been many studies, so the risks are unclear, the exposure is unclear, and the defenses are unclear, again, simply because there are not many studies out there, and as you can imagine, if there are any experts, they're going to be very, very costly.